WWE strikes first with the Wednesday Night Wars with the debut of NXT on the USA Network. The Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong battle it out for the NXT North American Championship, and the Undisputed Era's prophecy is finally fulfilled. Lio Rush makes his return to the WWE after a 6-month hiatus, and we get a taste of 205 Live at Full Sail University, and Matt Riddle and Killian Dain cause chaos down in Orlando. We're going to talk about it. Was it the best NXT episode of 2019? Let's figure it out right here for NXT on Off the Script.
This is mine.
Alive with it. People still didn't. NXT trending #1 worldwide tonight after the first hour on the USA Network. Were they trending #1 because it was a damn good show? I would hope so. That hour one was awesome. Or was it because the WWE Network shit the bed? WWE Network took a nice, steaming, wet dump all over your evenings. People couldn't log into the network. People screenshotting their TVs, failed logins, nothing was playing. The majority of the people missed the second hour of NXT on the WWE Network. Now, I know I mentioned this leading into the last couple of NXT podcasts I did on Wednesday. I know I mentioned this, but hopefully for my audience, you got the memo. The WWE was only going live from 8 to 9 on the USA Network. 9 to 10 was going to be aired on the WWE Network. And the reason why this is happening is because USA Network is finishing up their series, Suits, which is an original show on the USA Network. One show I have not watched a single episode of, but they're wrapping that up this week, and then I think the series finale is over next week. So the same thing is going to happen next week. 8 to 9 on USA, 9 to 10 on the WWE Network. Now, fortunately, I got lucky because I knew I needed to avoid any type of trouble tonight with the network. I know the network has not been as stable as many have desired since the new relaunch. I know there's been a lot of updates. I streamed the network through a Amazon Fire Stick, so as soon as USA Network aired NXT tonight and we got to the first commercial break, I'm like, let me go and fire up the Fire Stick and turn on the WWE Network. How to update the app, and then I downloaded whatever update was, and then I turned on the WWE Network. They were actually airing last week's episode of NXT, but I knew it was on in the background. TV input 4 on my TV is where I stream the Fire Stick. TV input 1, back to live TV on the USA Network. As soon as the show on USA Network ended, immediately jumped to the WWE Network on my Amazon Fire Stick, and I was good to go. So I had fired that bitch up at 8:05. I was not having any issues tonight. A lot of people didn't do that, and a lot of people missed a good chunk of the second hour of NXT tonight. So if they were trending #1 worldwide, they were probably trending #1 worldwide because of customer complaints adding the WWE Network on social media. I'm sorry you guys had to go through that, but next week, if you're listening to me, if you're new or if you're an OG of the channel, make sure you are aware and follow the same exact steps that I did. Fire up the network early. Make sure it's on so that you can flip right to the network at 9 o'clock. The same thing is going to happen next week. It's only 1 hour on the USA Network, and then beginning October 2nd, full 2 hours will be on the USA Network as they go head-to-head with All Elite Wrestling. Was it a great show? Absolutely. Was it a great show? I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It might have been the best episode of NXT all year. Now, there's one other episode of NXT this year that I know for a fact I uttered those words. Those are not easy words to pry out of me. The Dusty Classic was phenomenal this year. Aleister Black and Ricochet, and them winning it, getting the shot at the War Raiders at NXT TakeOver New York, which was probably the best tag team match in the entire company all year. I guess the triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Cardiff could give that one a run for the money, but I am going to go with the War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet still as my number one tag team match this year. But there was an episode back during the Dusty Classic where I think it was Black and Ricochet versus Imperium. It was Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. I don't know what else was on that show. It might have been something with Gargano and Ciampa, I believe. I don't know who they wrestled, but all I know, it was a fantastic episode of NXT. It was legitimately 3 matches, and it was just unbelievable. Tonight's episode, if you want to look back at 2019 when we get towards the end of the year, it's definitely going to be one of the best episodes that NXT has produced this year. I loved, I would say, the majority of what we've seen tonight. I would have changed 2 things about tonight's show. Most of it was great. These 2 little things I would have changed, and I know a lot of you guys probably are going to shake your head. Yeah, you know what, JD, I agree with you. The match order, I was kind of taken back by the match order tonight. Because I would not. Now, watching the show, as soon as 8 o'clock hit, I'm planted, I got my cup of coffee, I got my iPad, I'm ready to go. Watching the show at 8 o'clock and watching the Fatal 4-Way, I'm like, yes, this is a perfect match to open this show with. And the ladies killed it. The ladies in that match absolutely killed it. 10 minutes, 100 miles an hour. They did not slow down. Candice won it. She is getting the match with Shayna Baszler. I think it's absolutely perfect. If you guys have been watching NXT, I've been saying this for weeks. There is no better option than Candice LeRae to take that belt off of Shayna Baszler. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But looking back at it now that the show is over, looking back at what we've seen and then watching Hour 2 on the WWE Network, I don't know if I would have opened with that Fatal 4-Way women's match. With USA Network only getting 1 hour, and this is WWE's first foot in the door with NXT on the USA Network, I would have opened with Roddy versus the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship. I would have had them go out there and kill it like they did, and that's the first thing that you see. First thing you see is Velveteen Dream, Roddy, Undisputed Era, the great closing sequence of that match, new champion. I would have got things off with that right then and there for the first half an hour. Then I would have gave you Lio Rush and Oni Lorkhan in Hour 1. That was, to me, misplaced on Hour 2. It was easily the best match in Hour 2. In my eyes, Oni Lorkhan and Lio Rush gave you the match of the night. That's my match of the night tonight. Lio Rush and Oni Lorkhan. I would put that right in Hour 1. And then you could have ended with Killian Dain and Matt Riddle. You could have bled into the second hour with that chaos that we seen at the end of Hour 2. So that's what I would have did. And you could have easily closed the show with the women's Fatal 4-Way and maybe give them an extra 5 minutes, being that they did not even utilize the entire 2 hours. They went off the air at 10 to the top of the hour. It was over by 9:50. Could have gave those women an extra 5 or 6 minutes easy to main event that show tonight. So that's one thing that I would have changed, the match order. Now, the other thing I did not like is the fact that we seen Imperium tonight with no real build or hype around it. I know WWE is going to load these shows up with as many top names that they have in the NXT brand. But when Imperium shows up for absolutely no reason on the second hour on the WWE Network, when those guys should be front and center on USA Network, don't know why you didn't save that for the USA Network and why you needed to do that with Kushida tonight on the WWE Network. It felt forced. And it felt completely out of place. Not that I don't want them there. I just don't know why they were there. Because Walter didn't really give any reason as to why they were there. None of the other guys speak. He does all the speaking for them. Kushida and Walter, to my knowledge, don't have any prior history in the WWE. So why did it happen? Why did it happen? I guess we're going to find out the why in a couple of weeks when, I guess, whatever they got going on leads to a match. But having this happen on night one instead of doing it when AEW is live and we see Walter come out just unknown to everybody, unadvertised to everybody, I felt like it was just a waste of an appearance by them on the second hour, which the network crashed on anyway. So those are the only things that I find to be a negative of the show. Plus the Aliyah match with Zaya Lee. Oh my goodness, man. Get Aliyah away from a ring, please. Her and Vanessa Bourne, get them away. Get them away. They are the NXT version of the Iconics. We don't want them here. They're not needed here. They're in the same category as the Iconics and Alexa Bliss. Just get them away. Get them away. Other than that, this was a damn good show. Cameras, they upped the camera quality, and I think they did, but it definitely looked different. Full Sail felt different. Live crowd is so much better than a taped crowd. That live crowd is going to be like that every single week because those people, you're going to see these people every single week. You're going to see that fucking fat slob in the front row, Greg with the glasses, who thinks everything's fucking real. You're going to see Grandma NXT sit in front row. You're going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces, but the thing is, where you see a lot of familiar faces on the weekly show taped, they've been sitting there for 4 hours watching 4 sets of shows that they have to film. Now these people are going to be sitting here for 2 hours every single week, and that energy is going to be maintained very nicely throughout the 2 hours. They're not going to be sitting there for 4 hours, and by the 4th taping, they're all completely dead, and they want to go home. So I love the fact that these shows are live because you're going to get a real taste of what the crowd should be. And they brought it all night. There was not one instance in the entire night where they absolutely were drained, not excited, bored. I thought it was great. So on top of the camera quality being upped, the crowd being amped up all night, it looked like Full Sail was given a little bit of a makeover. They got rid of the ramp. There was no more traditional steel ramp. It was just a straight beeline to the ring. There was a bigger screen on stage, or it might be the same screen, but it looked a lot bigger. There was no stage, and it looked like there was more room around ringside. At one point, I thought the ring looked bigger. Maybe they got a new ring, but it looked like it was just, overall, the entirety of the atmosphere around ringside was just a little bit fuller. So I love the new presentation. I love the way that they made Full Sail look tonight. And all in all, this was a huge success for NXT. Everybody was worried that NXT was going to take a hit. Maybe Vince McMahon was going to get his little fingerprints all over it. It felt the same. It looked the same to me. There was nothing compromised as far as quality goes. The only thing I will say, and I gotta thank my boy Jesse for pointing this out to me, because I did notice it as well, but it didn't really cross my mind until he put it into words when he texted me. I know for a fact that Vince McMahon had some influence on this show. Not really creatively, but maybe, his keen eyes were roaming around or his ears were perked up. He was looking for something to change on this show. Normally when they announce a title match and the announcers are standing front and center, you got the challenger and the champion on both sides. Normally the ring announcer says, and this next contest is scheduled for 1 fall. Crowd yells 1 fall. The woman ring announcer, I don't know her name, I apologize for that, but she did not hesitate or pause after saying 1 fall to let the crowd do 1 fall. She went right into it in a typical WWE main roster fashion. So if you're thinking Vince McMahon didn't have any influence on this show at all you have to do is look at that. That was changed. That's a main roster move. Vince McMahon said, you know what, I can't have this on this show. I'm sorry. We gotta stand out and be different. We can't be, or lower ourselves, I should say. We can't lower ourselves to those indie marks that are going to be doing that on TNT. So I could definitely see that. That might have been something that he changed. But in the end, guys, you need to start watching NXT. If that first hour, if that Velveteen Dream, Roderick Strong match did not wake you up in any way, if it didn't wake you up, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. This is what I've been saying for years. You take a little bit of what NXT is doing and you apply it to the main roster, and you have a show that is going to keep your attention for 2 hours. I love NXT. I'm the biggest NXT mark that is probably on this platform. I'm fucking no shame in saying that. But this is what you're going to have to get used to on Wednesday nights. This is what you're going to have to get used to on a weekly basis. You're not going to want to miss anything that they're doing. You're going to fall in love with who you see on this show. And this wasn't even anywhere close to being the tip of the iceberg. Because I love for a fucking fact that they already got the ball rolling on things that we're going to be seeing. Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee announced for next week. Shayna Basler and Candice LeRae. I'm thinking, they should take over women's match right there. They're doing it on week 3, October 2nd. They're putting that women's title match up against AEW's women's title match with Nyla Rose and Riho. So this is going to be fucking awesome, folks. It's going to be a great time to be a pro wrestling mark. NXT and AEW, they're going to go tit for tat, and you know who's going to be the real winner, man? Fuck the Wednesday Night War. This is going to be great for all of us. Look at the amount of great wrestling that we have. Tell me you weren't excited tonight. I had my reservations. I had my doubts. I had my worries. Because I love NXT so much. Why change a good thing? Why fuck up a good thing when nothing needs to be changed, really? You know? As far as what you see presented on TV, maybe you can up the camera quality, you know, little things here and there. But the very essence of what makes this show, don't fuck with it. And I'm glad to see that it was a resounding success on night 1 here on the USA Network. We're going to go over everything tonight. We got a ton of matches to go over. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Those are my opening thoughts on the debut of NXT. I am JD. If you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, turn on that bell for all notifications. If you're an OG around here, an original guy, thank you guys so very much. Shout out to my boy Kedrick with the Off the Script sign in the crowd. Love Off the Script being represented on night 1 of NXT on the USA Network. Shout out to him. When I get down to Orlando, bro, we're going to have beers. So make sure you are ready for some good old craft beer. But thank you guys so very much, man, for all the support. If you missed my Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live reviews, those videos are live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and check that out. We had Monday Night Raw, the Fiend, and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. The Fiend attacked Kane. It's now confirmed that he's going one-on-one, The Fiend, versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. On SmackDown Live, the Beast, Brock Lesnar, in all his bearded glory, is back. And he's challenging for the WWE Championship. That is taking place on October 4th, the debut episode of SmackDown on Fox. My thoughts on that? Bring your tissues, because all the Kofi Kingston lovers out there, they're very salty over the fact that their man is probably losing the WWE Championship, and they didn't want to hear it coming out of my mouth. But I had to shed some reality on their poor, pathetic lives last night on SmackDown Live. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Everything you need will be linked down in the description, man. Easy access for you. Raw and SmackDown, links for those 2 videos will be linked in the description below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media as well, at JD from NY206. I will be live tweeting every single week with AEW, because I'm going to be watching AEW on Wednesdays. NXT, I'll be watching probably back and forth. And the majority of my time on Wednesday is going to AEW. I'm going to catch up on NXT on Wednesday after I finish working AEW. So I will be live tweeting anyway on Wednesdays, where I was not live tweeting on Wednesdays because NXT was taped and there was no reason for me to live tweet. I just wanted to enjoy the show. But now that we got live wrestling on Wednesdays, I'll be live tweeting a little bit more, man, just like we do on Monday and Tuesday night. At JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Same at. Make sure you guys follow me on both. We're nearing 29,000 followers on Twitter, and we're nearing 8,000 followers on Instagram. I would definitely appreciate you guys go over there and follow me on both. And the podcast tonight is brought to you by Audible. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys use our unique link. If you guys want to get something for free just for listening to the show, Audible's got you covered, man. They're going to give you 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. You have over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. You don't need to pick a wrestling book. You guys can pick anything you want. You guys can listen to Audible anywhere, man. In the shower, while washing your balls. Instead of listening to some shitty music, turn on a good audiobook. You guys want to go outside and do some gardening? Turn on an audiobook. You guys want to do the dishes and drown out the wife's nagging voice? Turn on an audiobook. You guys want to relax in peace on the bus or train ride to work? Listen to an audiobook, man. I got you covered. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys get your 30 days and free audiobook on me. And the best part is, if you feel like Audible's not for you, you can cancel at any time and still get to keep your audiobook for free, man. How about that? audibletrial.com/offthescript. Once again, guys, audibletrial.com/offthescript. NXT opened up, man. Fatal 4-Way Women's Championship #1 Contenders match for Shayna Baszler's women's title. Io Shirai, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, and Bianca Belair, man. Can I just mention this? I love all four of these. Well, maybe not Mia Yim. I've had a problem with Mia Yim. I still don't know Mia Yim. I don't know why I should be invested in Mia Yim, but she looked great tonight. Gotta give her props. She looked great tonight. Probably the best I've seen her since she's been on the active NXT women's roster. This was the best that she looked all year in this match. They all brought it. 100 miles an hour. They didn't get pulled over by a cop. They didn't give a shit about getting pulled over by a cop. On this road, 100 miles an hour, they didn't stop for gas. They didn't pull into a rest stop and get a fucking Dunkin'. They didn't pull over in a rest stop and grab some fucking cheap fast food. They didn't give a shit, man. Straight ahead, they didn't look back. They knew they were the first thing that people were watching on this program on the USA Network, and they went out there and said, you know what? Follow this, motherfucker. Follow this. And that's exactly the attitude I got, man. The one thing we got to get used to, and I hate it, I want to fucking gouge somebody's eyes out. We got to get used to it, man. Commercials in the middle of an NXT match. Got to get used to it. It was more evident in the North American Championship match. 2 commercial breaks in that one. We got so lucky. Watching this on the WWE Network with no commercial breaks, we would see all 20 glorious minutes of a championship match. We would just enjoy a commercial-free show. Maybe a little plug here for a pay-per-view. Maybe a plug here for a WWE.com shop ad. But that was it. Now we gotta deal with 4-minute fucking commercials. Yes, I know smoking is bad for you. Yes, I understand that Suits or the USA Network has this reality show and the Chrisleys are fucking not paying their taxes. Whatever. I know. I don't care. I'd rather watch what's happening in the ring. WWE's got to get that picture-in-picture deal going on with NXT like they do on Smackdown Live, please. Because watching the Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong is much more important than watching fucking The Miz beat Andrade. Anyway, we had 5 minutes here. They went to commercial. Come back from commercial. The women are still going at it, fast and furious. Tower of Doom spot with all 4 women out of the corner. Very formulaic, very typical spot for a multi-person match. So we got rapid-fire action here. All 4 women came out of the corner. All 4 were down. Bianca gets up. She went for her KOD on Candice, I believe. And then Mia Yim intervened with a code blue, which is nothing more than a code red, which is nothing more than a sunset flip powerbomb. That was broken up by Shirai. Belair then hit LaRae with the KOD. And that was pretty much that. Then we got Mia Yim. Mia Yim, like I said, man, looked fantastic in this thing. She looked great. I have been so hard on Mia Yim in the past couple of months because I don't know who she is, but there was a certain intent, and this probably had to do with them being live. There was a certain intensity brought out by Mia Yim tonight that I really appreciate. So for at least one night, I'm not going to shit all over her. So Mia Yim intervened here, and she took Shirai off the top rope, and she went for a moonsault. She shoved Shirai off the top rope. Shirai then flies through the air. I believe Candice was on the outside. looked like she flew in midair with a crossbody as Mia Yim shoved her off the top rope. Or it was Belair on the floor, I'm sorry. So Yim climbed to the top, then LaRae was up top with Mia Yim. Yim went for a power bomb. LaRae held on and gave Yim a poison Rana, which is a reverse Rana, and her head was spiked badly. That looked sick. And then she followed up with a lion salt, a springboard moonsault off the middle rope for the win. She earned a title match against Shayna Baszler in 10 minutes. This was awesome. Candice LeRae winning this match and becoming the number one contender is the right move to make. We've seen Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair. We've seen Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai. We've seen Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim. This is the only match that we have not seen yet in this type of importance. And I honestly think that Candice LeRae is going to get the call, and she's going to be the new women's champion. That is going to be a great moment. I thought they were going to save this and build towards TakeOver. They're not doing that. This match is actually taking place on October 2nd, live on the USA Network, and there's another wrestling show happening on that night called AEW, and they also have the first match to crown a new women's champion in their promotion on that night between Nyla Rose and Riho. So WWE isn't thinking of AEW? Of course they are. You're going to crown a new women's champion? We're going to have a women's championship match of our own with Shayna Baszler, who's held the title for 320 days, against a babyface that is irresistible to not love in Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae may be one of the... I think Morrow said that Candice LeRae is one of the toughest women on the planet. One of the toughest female wrestlers on this planet. You might not see that. You might see little rinky-dink blonde Candice LeRae. Oh, she's all cute and, I could see her coming out with sunflowers and I could see her being the girl next door, bubblegummy, right? Candice LeRae is a fucking beast. This woman is going to be the new women's champion. I can't wait to see what these two women do. And just the fact that she is now rising to the top of NXT after so many months of her being off television. And with them not giving her anything to do. It's so great to see her finally starting to get some level of success. Where Johnny found success, now Candice is finding success. I can't wait to see it happen. I think the right move is to put the belt on Candice and then have Candice feud with Io for the women's championship. Shayna, I don't know, man. It might be done. It might be done and over for Shayna. She might be getting the call to the main roster. When you add Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm to the women's division, you might not need Shayna Baszler because Io Shirai is going to take over that big heel act. She's going to take over that big heel role in the women's division. There might not be enough room for two major heels in that division right now. Shayna's been down there for so long. I don't want to see her go, but you kind of know when the time is up, and I felt it months ago, and I'm starting to feel it more now with Shayna. Her time might be up in NXT, so we'll see what happens. Candice LeRae is the absolutely perfect choice to go one-on-one with Shayna. She's the perfect choice in my eyes to be the new women's champion. She's winning that title in 2 weeks, in my honest opinion. So as LeRae was celebrating on the stage, Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke, the horsewomen, came out, taunted her. Baszler stood in her face, held up the NXT title belt, and LeRae was going back and forth, mouthing off at Baszler. No punches were thrown, no other interactions besides the stare down, which was good, and that was pretty much it. Seen a brief vignette of Adam Cole. They cut backstage to Cole with his NXT championship. As Roderick Strong was warming up, they cut to the Velveteen Dream in his locker room, and he was getting ready for his big match to defend that title. We got Killian Dain, a clip of Killian Dain on Matt Riddle attacking him. They plugged that as the street fight tonight in the main event, live second hour on the WWE Network. So they let you know several times during the show. Flip over to the WWE Network, get yourself ready for hour 2 on the network of NXT. And then they aired a video package of Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee. These guys tore the house down a couple of weeks ago on NXT TV. They're going to be doing it live again at Full Sail next week. I can't wait to see what they bring after what they did a couple of weeks ago. I can't wait for you guys to see these two behemoths go at it, man. You're going to fall in love with Keith Lee. He's got a presence about him that you want to see more of. And Dominik Dijakovic, man, he's going to be someone to look out for. These two in the ring are magic. Can't wait to see what they do live on NXT next week. Cameron Grimes versus Sean Maluda. We got 5 seconds. I kid you not. Man. Sean Maluda was in the ring. Grimes made his ring entrance. He was in the ring. Mora called him the technical savage and described him as country power. So we had Cameron Grimes catching Maluda, charging in with a double foot stomp out of the corner, and that was it. Grimes caught a 3 count in 5 seconds, and that was pretty much it. You talk about getting buried. Holy shit. Maluda got buried tonight by Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is someone that I want you guys to look out for as well. He was in the finals of the Breakout Tournament. ACH, also known as Jordan Miles, won that. He had a great match with Adam Cole, cashed in his contract at any championship of his choice. He won for Adam Cole, obviously. But Miles beat Grimes in the finals. Grimes, I'm liking what they're doing with him. They're giving him some character. They're giving him a look. They're giving him a feel. So it's nice to see that he's transforming into a character on WWE TV. But having him win in 5 seconds, don't know why. Maybe for time reasons. Maybe the only reason why. But 5 seconds, man. You know, I know they want to get him over. I think he's going to be a big piece of their future here in NXT. But 5 seconds? And then burying a quality act like Sean Maluda? I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody's going to care. But 5 seconds is what I call buried by WWE. Velveteen Dream and Roderick Strong for the NXT North American Championship. This one went 17 minutes, and we have a new NXT North American Champion in Roderick Strong. This one was awesome. This one was great, man. You guys know about the Velveteen Dream. I'm thinking to myself, with the Velveteen Dream coming on out, his ring entrance was awesome. It was like this purple mist and this purple smoke, and it looked like he was behind the mist, you know, with his name in big bright lights on the screen. He comes walking out, and I'm thinking to myself, how long before Vince, because you know Vince was watching their show tonight. Maybe he was there, I don't know. But how long before Vince sees the Velveteen Dream and says, Paul, I want him on Monday Night Raw? I don't know. I got this fear. Now that he lost the North American Championship tonight, that might be in motion. I hope not. But how long before Vince sees him and gets him on the main roster? Velveteen has so much charisma, man. He's got more charisma in his ring entrance alone than all 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. Now, Roderick Strong, Roddy is so underrated by a lot of people. Roddy is so underappreciated by a lot of people. You look at Roddy, there's nothing special about him. He looks like a boring, no character type guy. You know, what it is about him. He's a vanilla midget. All of Undisputed Era are vanilla midgets. There's nothing about these guys. They're too small. They're not marketable. I don't know how you can build a show around these guys. I've seen these things being said on social media tonight. And I don't get it. Roddy is so good that he's in the ring with anybody and he's going to make them. Simple. Roddy is that good. Everybody that shares the ring with Roddy is that much better in the end for sharing the ring with him. Now, Velveteen Dream is so great as it is. They put him over big. He's 23 years old, big prodigy. Everybody from Shawn Michaels to John Cena to Triple H to Matt Bloom, everybody is so high on the Velveteen Dream. I kind of knew that he was going to lose this thing in the weeks leading up to it because the way that I seen it just kind of happening. You know, you got the Elite, you got Kenny Omega, you got Nick and Matt, you got Cody, you got Hangman, right? Those are the guys, those are the faces behind AEW. Here in WWE and NXT, who's going up against AEW on Wednesday nights, you got Adam Cole, you got Bobby Fish, you got Kyle O'Reilly, and you got Roderick Strong. What type of statement does it make on WWE's behalf? You know, you want to go into war, you're going to go into war with your guys. You're going to go into war with your guys, and in this case, they're going into war with their guys, and all of their guys have all major men championships in NXT. Adam Cole's the NXT champion Undisputed Era has the tag team championships with Fish and O'Reilly, and now Roddy has the North American championship. So it's like war, basically, without there being any guns or, any murder. Look, you got two sides. You got those guys and you got the NXT guys here being led by Undisputed Era. It's just the symbolism kind of made it predictable in my eyes. That's the way I seen it. But outside of all that nonsense, this was a great match. Great match. And it really didn't start to pick up towards the last 5 minutes. Velveteen was being beaten down. All of his offense was thwarted by Roderick Strong. I kept yelling at my TV, Dream, please pick up your pants. His tights were a little looser than normal tonight. We seen the glimpse of the crack of his ass tonight. Bro, you gotta tie those things tight, please. Or maybe get some new pants. You're going to be making the big time sooner rather than later. Maybe we got to get you some new ring attire. But towards the end of this thing, man, we had Dream struggling. He was being beaten down by Roddy. He was in a Boston Crab. And I love the fact that Velveteen sold the shit out of this Boston Crab. Because when Roddy applies a Boston Crab, he applies a Boston Crab. He does everything with such a level of physicality. Even his submissions, you can see the physicality behind it. So Dream crawled to the bottom rope. He looked like he was about to tap. And Morrow even said he's got to be careful because it looked like he was about to tap in that Boston Crab. So the rest of the Undisputed Era at this point came out and started to complain to the referee. And they might have even been complaining. I don't know if this was mentioned on commentary. They might have been complaining that Velveteen Dream started to tap out, which would have made sense as to why Velveteen was doing what he did, which prompted Undisputed Era to come on out. So they surrounded the ring. Dream then got to his feet. He was trying to fight off Undisputed Era. Strong threw some punches. Dream was fighting off Strong. Then we had Strong threw Dream into the referee. Referee went down. Dream then gave Strong the Dream Valley driver. He knocked Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole off the ring apron. But when he turned around, Strong caught him with a jumping knee strike. A wad of spit came flying out of Velveteen's mouth. Then we got an end of heartache, which is Roddy's finishing move. Referee then came to, and the Velveteen Dream kicked out of a close could be near fall. I was on the edge of my seat watching this. So fans are going crazy. They're chanting Velveteen. Dream then hit the Dream Valley driver. Cole then seen Velveteen going up to the top for the Purple Rainmaker elbow drop. He gets on the apron and he super kicked Dream off the top rope. Now, where's the referee? The referee in this moment, while Adam Cole was super kicking Velveteen Dream off the top rope, the referee was actually interrupted and kind of busy with Bobby Fish on the other side of the ring. Strong then landed the end of heartache after the super kick from Adam Cole, and he wins the North American Championship. And that was the way NXT on the USA Network for the first hour went off the air. Really good first hour. I loved the ending of this match. The only takeaway from this, if I was to pinpoint the negative, I don't know what is to come for Dream. Clearly, this is setting him up for a rematch of sorts. And WWE is going to need to, have all men and women on deck. We'll probably get that in a couple of weeks on NXT TV, being that we've seen the fuck finish here. I was hoping that there was no tomfoolery in this match. I was hoping that there was no interference. Because Undisputed Era, they won the tag team championships with no interference. They had Adam Cole go out there and beat Jordan Miles with no interference. Street Profits even beat Undisputed Era at TakeOver in Toronto with no interference. Nobody from Undisputed Era came out. They just lost clean. And then in this moment, Roddy needs help with the Velveteen Dream for the North American Championship. I can understand why the Undisputed Era was out there. Maybe they did have a reason to argue with the referee that Dream had tapped, and that's what brought them out there. But I wish Roddy would have won it on his own and really solidified Undisputed Era as a fucking power stable in this company that cannot be fucked with. With Roddy winning in the way that he did, it somehow, in my eyes, it doesn't make him completely look weak, but when Adam Cole won the NXT Championship on his own from Johnny, or retained the title, I should say, from Johnny at TakeOver. And Undisputed Era won their titles clean. They needed to help Roddy win the title. So out of all the title victories and the title retentions that they've recently had, Roddy needed to cheat. Roddy needed help from his brothers to win the North American Championship. I don't know how that sits well with me. You know, I understood why they did it. It's just, I wish there really wasn't such a necessity to have them interfere in this instance when it could have been just as great if Roddy won clean and Undisputed Era, you know, said exactly what they were going to do. We're going to have all the titles. Here we are. We got all the titles. But now it comes with an asterisk. The North American Championship to the piece of this puzzle comes with an asterisk that will only lead to another rematch for the Velveteen Dream. So we'll see what happens. I thought it was great, even though there was some fuck finish at the end, and I thought this was a great hour of NXT. Hour 2. We opened up with Undisputed Era still celebrating at ringside. They showed the clips of the finishing sequence of that match. Then they told us that Basler versus LaRae would take place on October 2nd on the USA Network to go head-to-head. They didn't really say this, but it will be going head-to-head with Rio and Nyla Rose for the AEW Women's Championship. So when you think WWE isn't counter-programming, AEW's counter-programming, clearly this is a counter-programming maneuver by WWE. We're in the heat of a war now, folks. All gloves are off. Anything goes. So I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. Pete Dunn is now going to be with NXT full-time. I read a report. I reported last weekend on NXT that Pete Dunn is in the process of moving his family to Orlando. So we're going to be seeing more Pete Dunn on NXT. He's not the only one from NXT UK that we're seeing on NXT Local. Pete Dunn, Tony Storm, and Rhea Ripley are all joining NXT at Full Sail, which is going to make me a very happy man in the form of Tony Storm. So there you go. Pete Dunn versus Arturo Rojas. This one, listen, I love Pete Dunn. This one didn't do anything for me. This was a showcase for Pete Dunn, I would say, to get his feet wet on NXT and give him a win. This was a nice opportunity for Arturo Rojas. Don't really get him, don't really like him. I find him to be painfully boring. There's nothing about him that makes him stand out. He reminds me of Steve Blackman. He's a modern-day Steve Blackman in the ring, but Steve Blackman was epic. Arturo Rojas is not. Dunn wins in 7 minutes. Rojas went for a roundhouse kick to the head. German suplex into a bridge. Rojas kicks is the name of the game here. Dunn maneuvered Rojas into an arm triangle attempt. He then shifted his submission into the bending of the fingers. And I cringed and I winced, and he snapped Rojas' fingers back, and Rojas tapped. That was pretty much it. So we got a nice mix of styles here between Pete Dunn and his strong style versus Arturo Rojas and his submission. And in the end, Pete Dunn won with his best submission, breaking somebody's fingers. Pete Dunn wins in 7 minutes. Zaya Lee versus Aliyah with Vanessa Bourne. This one went 2 minutes, and it went 2 minutes too long. I don't mind Zaya Lee. She's getting better. I think she's very over with the crowd. And Vanessa Bourne and Aliyah don't need to be on television anymore. They're awful. They are the NXT version of the Iconics. They are as painful to me as Alexa Bliss is to Monday Night Raw. So they touted that Lee was the first Chinese woman to compete in a WWE ring. And this one ended with kicks. That was pretty much it. There was a botch on the top turnbuckle. I don't know whose fault it was. I'm going to sit here and blame Aliyah because she's just that awful. And Zaya Lee, I don't know what she was going for here, but she had slipped off the top rope, recovered nicely, and then they went into the ending of the match where it was Zaya Lee with 1, 2, 3 kicks to Aliyah, with Vanessa Bourne on the outside. Aliyah got up after every kick, and then that was it. And then Zaya Lee did her spinning kick off the ropes, the heel of her kick right to the back of the head, and that was pretty much the end of the match. So Zaya Lee wins in 2 minutes. Very, very forgettable. I even said on Twitter, WWE is lucky that this match took place on the WWE Network and not in front of an NXT crowd on USA. So, we were going to have Kushida up next. Kushida. I love me some Kushida, man. He's been off TV for a couple of weeks. He's been on 205 Live mingling with those guys over there. Then we got Denzel DeJournette. Sounds like a fucking brand of mustard that you're going to find down in aisle 7 at A&P. Do A&Ps even exist anymore? Pathmark. Stop and Shop. That's where I shop. Stop and Shop. Denzel DeJournette. He looked like Flesh Funk's retarded little cousin. That's what he reminded me of. Dressed like Marty Jannetty. I don't know who the fuck this guy was, but he came out anyway. Why don't we... Look, I'm glad that they didn't put him in this spot. Why don't we get some Rick Boogs on this show, really? If we can have DeJournette come out here and start dancing like a clown, we can get an appearance by Rick Boogs to give me some air guitar. Please. Anyway, DeJournette was in the ring. Out come Fabian Eichner, Alexander Wolf, and Marcel Bartel from NXT UK. They make up Imperium, and they attacked DeJournette. Fans chanted, "Where is Walter?" They beat up this clown. They did their pose mid-ring, and then out comes Walter. That was it. Walter stood in the ring. Walter's entrance and his vibe and his look and his theme song, his entire entrance, man, gives me fucking chills. It is a thing of beauty. I would never have that man lose, period. He is the quintessential perfect fucking champion. That is the quintessential perfect group right there. They make up probably what is the best group in all of WWE. I love Imperium. They are awesome. So Walter's in the ring, and this is where I felt that things were forced. Imperium's in the ring, and Walter says, "We are Imperium, and this mat is sacred. We are here to restore the honor and tradition of our sport." And then he was interrupted by Kushida. So Kushida came out, and he went to the ring. He said, "This is my time." He actually took the microphone and said, "This is my time." And he said that you are on my time now that you're in my ring. So Nigel said this isn't a good idea. So we had Alexander Wolf charge, then Bartel charged, then Eichner charged. He knocked them all down, but Walter yanked him into the ring. Kushida was still in his jacket. So Walter tried to pick him up, and instead he ended up taking his jacket off. He took Kushida's jacket off. Kushida then landed a leaping sidekick and then retreated to the floor. Fans are going crazy at this point, and nobody really understood what was happening here. But Morrow said, "I wonder if this is Kushida challenging Walter to a match later on down the line." I don't know what this means. This was clearly set up for something when they go live on the USA Network for the full 2 hours. Obviously, it's set up something when they go up to face AEW head-to-head on Wednesday nights. But it just felt out of place. It just felt forced. Like, I don't even think you needed these guys here. You really didn't. That's just the way I see it. This could have went to the women, could have given them an extra 4 minutes. You could have given Velveteen and Roddy an extra 4 minutes. You could have given Lio Rush and Oni Lorkhan an extra 4 minutes. You could have actually had a match with Matt Riddle and Killian Dain if you wanted to. Could have added time to that chaos that ended at the end of hour 2. I don't know. It just felt so out of place. Like, I don't mind seeing them. It's just, what are you doing there? You know, you don't need to blow all your load in one shot. Save it. Save it and build towards something else. Clearly, they're building towards something. I don't know if I'm interested in what they got planned, but we'll see how it materializes. I just felt like this could have waited a week or two when they were actually live for the 2 hours on USA Network, because why would you show these guys off on the WWE Network when you could have easily saved this and showed these guys off who deserve that type of spotlight on the USA Network? That's just something I don't get. So that was my only takeaway from that. Oni Lorkhan and Lio Rush, #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, Lio Rush, I've been a big fan of Lio Rush ever since his days on the Indies when he was in Ring of Honor. We used him in House of Glory. One of my favorite matches, if not my favorite match, was Lio Rush versus Cash Flow, Ken Broadway, #2. That was just an awesome match. My favorite match on commentary with Matthew Ryan Shapiro. And Lio Rush, I knew then how great he was. His offense is so explosive. His offense is so crisp. He's just so great at what he does. They moved him to the main roster, obviously, to be with Bobby Lashley. I felt like that killed everything about Lio Rush. I felt like his motivation was killed. I felt like he wasn't appreciated by that locker room. I felt like he wasn't appreciated by that audience. Felt like he wasn't being used in the way that he should be used. He shows up back here on NXT. No news of his return at all. He looks fantastic. He looks like he's been reborn. And he looks like he fits like a glove on NXT. I was so happy to see him back here at NXT that I'm like, yes, finally. This is the Lio Rush that I've wanted in WWE. None of this cheesy bullshit with Bobby Lashley being his fucking lackey. We got Oni Lorkhan. Oni Lorkhan is like Roderick Strong. The physicality that he brings out in a match is so infectious. It is so good. Mixed with Lio Rush here, this made for the best match of the night in my eyes. I loved everything about this. I love the fact that this was a number one contendership for the Cruiserweight Championship. Some of you might not like that. Some of you are probably asking, well, JD, what did Lio Rush do to become number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship? I am thinking along the lines of this is a brand new start for 205 Live. Because if this is the first taste of 205 Live on NXT or being integrated into NXT, man, we are off to the fucking races, man. Look at how great this was. Look at how these guys were received by the right fucking crowd. This was awesome. 205 Live's been killing it with the matches and the quality of the matches, but they're in the wrong fucking time slot. They're in the wrong cities, in the wrong crowds. This is going to be so good. Can you imagine bringing a 205 Live roster into NXT and having the Cruiserweight Championships be put into storylines like NXT, have that Cruiserweight Championship defended in the manner that it should be defended? This is going to be awesome. Drew Gulak and Lio Rush. You could get guys like Kushida in there challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship. The Cruiserweight Championship has an opportunity to not only be resurrected, but feel fucking important. To be a part of the importance like a North American Championship or an NXT Championship. This is awesome. And if this match is any indication about what we're going to see with 205 Live integrated into NXT, I want more of it. I want more of it. This is awesome. This was the best match of the evening for me. Lorkhan started out aggressively attacking Lio Rush, scored a near fall after a elbow, several of them, and then a blockbuster 15 seconds into the match. Rush dove through the ropes 3 times like a fucking shotgun blast. He hit all 3 tackles to the floor. Morrow was going crazy. Absolutely crazy. Lorkhan then came back with a dragon screw leg whip, which was awesome because Lio Rush's main strength is his legs, and Lorkhan attacked the legs. So Rush, one of the best parts of the entire night was Lio Rush. He hit a stunner off of an Irish whip. He went into a seated senton position, bounced in a seated position off the bottom rope, flew backwards, and caught Oni Lorkhan in a stunner off the bottom rope with his momentum and propelled his body into Lorkhan and gave him a stunner. That was awesome. Rush then climbs to the top and leaped, but Lorkhan moved. Rush then sold a knee injury. He was selling his knees because Lorkhan was working on the knees, and Rush blocked a powerbomb, ate 2 kicks and a powerbomb into a single leg crab, and this is when I thought it was all right. I legitimately thought Lio Rush was going to get a loss here and tap out, and Lorkhan applied the crab not once but twice because he shifted into an STF. He tried to pull Rush back the second time into the middle of the ring, then he applied the crab and then the crab into an STF. I thought this was it. Rush was beginning to fade, his eyes were closed, then he showed signs of life. He made it to the ropes, and the crowd popped when he made it to the ropes. So they were both on their feet, and Lorkhan was signaling for his big right-handed slap. He watched Rush try and struggle to get to his feet. He grabbed his chin, wound up, Rush ducked. Rush then fired back with a barrage of his own strikes, some quick strikes, including a slap with his right hand across Oni Lorkhan's face. Lorkhan and the camera angle on Lorkhan, they zoomed in on his eyes. This guy looked like a man possessed, and he fucking blasted Lio Rush right in the face. fucking knocked him silly. So Rush countered this. Fucking Lorkhan, after the slap, ran to the corner. He was going to deliver, I don't know, another blockbuster or a running elbow that he usually does, a running European uppercut. Lio Rush caught him in a Spanish fly in the middle of the ring. I legitimately fucking jumped off my couch. I love Lio Rush's fucking out of nowhere Spanish fly, man. It is a thing of fucking beauty. He then climbed the top rope after the Spanish fly. He went for the Dragon's Call, split-legged frog splash, and that was it. Lio Rush, 1, 2, 3, becomes the number one contender to Drew Gulak in the Cruiserweight Championship. That is going to be fucking awesome. This was a great match, man. Both of these guys deserve a lot of credit. This was the match of the night, in my honest opinion. Matt Riddle and Killian Dain street fight. This one didn't really go anywhere. It didn't. Matt Riddle came out dressed in his MMA shorts. Killian Dain came out in jeans, a tank top, and a leather jacket. He was ready to fight in the streets. Matt Riddle looked like he was ready to fucking train in the gym. Now, I didn't expect Matt Riddle to come out wearing jeans and no fucking boots or anything, but, you know, I would have appreciated to see someone live up to the street fight gimmick. You have a fucking street fight, then show me you're ready for a street fight, not an MMA fight. But I guess that's what Matt Riddle does. He beats to the fucking beat of his own drum. Now, we got this match happening. Killian Dain with a missile dropkick, literally out of nowhere, to start this thing. Blasted him as soon as the bell rung. Then before you know it, they're in the crowd. They're fighting to the back. They're fighting to the outside where the production trucks are. Now, I don't know who was sitting at the table, but I know Walter was there. He was there with two other guys. I don't know who they were. But Walter was sitting there with the NXT UK Championship on the table. And they go fighting over near the table. And out of nowhere, Walter blasts Matt Riddle. And then Imperium jump in on Matt Riddle. And then after that, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Street Profits were there. The Forgotten Sons were there. We seen Cesar Bononi was there. There was a bunch of guys. Sean Maluda was out there. I don't know who was out. The whole fucking roster was out there. Pete Dunne was there. So, the camera work here, all over the place. I don't know what was going on, man. I was fucking hallucinating at this point. I didn't know what was going on. Riddle and Dain brawled back to the ring. Everybody that was outside brawling followed them to the ringside area. So, Morrow was yelling, it's a street fight, let them wrestle. We seen security guards try and take away, legitimately security guards tried to come into the ring and take Matt Riddle away. He was blasting them. He was throwing them around. And the mother of all brawls is what Mauro Ranallo called it. No end in sight to this. Dain stood alone in the ring. Everybody was on the outside. He dove through the ropes like a fucking cannonball with a tope suicida. Holy shit. The crowd started chanting, "One a night, NXT live." And that's the way NXT goes off the air. They went off the air at 9:50. I've seen some people tweeting, is this normal for NXT to leave the show 10 minutes before the top of the hour? Yes, NXT usually does that. They never go the full hour. Yeah, they only go the full hour when it's a major episode. But they usually cut about, 50 minutes in. So I didn't really get surprised by how they ended or the time that they ended. They're gonna utilize the full 2 hours on USA Network. But being that they're on the USA Network for 1 hour and then WWE Network here, they could be a little bit more lenient on their own network. They can cut whenever they want. So that's exactly why they did that. No contest here, no winner, no street fight. I did think it was kind of silly to not have Matt Riddle featured on the USA Network. Maybe that's why they did this. They realized, well, I think we kind of fucking shot ourselves in the foot here. Matt Riddle is one of our biggest guys. He's going to be a huge fucking piece to the NXT puzzle here on Wednesday nights. Maybe we should save this and do it on fucking October 2nd. Let's do it all over again. Get Matt Riddle, get Killian Dain, get Matt Riddle especially in front of that live crowd on USA Network on October 2nd or in October, period. So I feel like WWE kind of realized they fucked up and didn't want to do this match on the WWE Network. They saved the blow-off for October. So that could be a possible reason. I didn't really like this at all. It was chaotic. It was fun. It was exciting. Moro can make a fucking cup of ramen look exciting, But This was very chaotic and reminded me of one of those go-home shows for the Royal Rumble where everybody's involved and it's just fucking chaos all over the place. It was kind of a cheesy way to, get excitement for NXT being live on USA Network and being live now as we go into October. It was fun. It wasn't anything all that special. They should have ended hour 1 with this, but it is what it is, man. The show ended. It was a great show. I had a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully it maintains that essence moving forward and we don't get any fucking Vince McMahon DNA on these shows. But all in all, this was a great episode of NXT. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I hope you guys did as well. Expect NXT every single week, just like you've seen here tonight. And moving forward with AEW is going to be on Wednesday nights. I'm doing AEW on Wednesday nights, and NXT is going on Thursdays starting in October. So starting October 2nd, make sure you guys are aware of the programming change on the channel. AEW and the podcast will be immediately following the show on Wednesday, every single Wednesday. NXT is going to be reserved for Thursday because I don't really have anything on Thursday right now. Thursday's usually an off day or I do a gaming video, but NXT is going to be on Thursday, so that's going to take up the Thursday spot for you guys on the weekly content calendar. And then Friday, Smackdown, and then Saturday and Sunday off the script. But I had fun tonight. I thought this was a great show. It wasn't perfect by any means, but hopefully they get it right, and I'm sure Triple H has got good things in store for us moving forward with NXT now live on the USA Network, man. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. audibletrial.com/offthescript for your free 30 days and your audio book. And if you guys missed Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live this week, make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out down below in the description of this very video. I will be back with something tomorrow. I don't know what, but if not, I will see you guys right back here on Friday for episode 292 of Off the Script. Thank you guys so much for NXT tonight. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here with more content on the channel. I'll see you guys then.